Hello and welcome to Traffic Paradise Radio. I'm Uno and I'm alone again today. Sorry we didn't have a video for you last time, but I've been very ill. Hopefully I will make it through this video without coughing my lungs out, but I had the flu. I've been like man down for like almost a full week. So we did want to just bring you some predictions before the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Obviously, a lot has happened this week in Formula One news. Uh, Unfortunately, Yuki Tsunoda has lost his seat and will not be on the grid in 2026. As a Yuki fan and as a channel that was largely started because we were all Yuki fans to a certain degree, this is a very sad day for the channel, very sad week for the channel, and we want to wish Yuki all the best, and we want to make it very clear that we support him and we think he's amazing. And I think you're going to see a bit of that in our predictions. We've all kind of, I think, as an act of protest, predicted something amazing for Yuki this week. So, will it happen? Probably not. But he's our guy, and we're gonna back him regardless. So, have a watch, have a listen, and enjoy. Yeah. I think that I don't know how it all came about. Like we just started giving our predictions, and like Yuki kept on being mentioned, and it was eventually it just became like, well, if you're not mentioning Yuki, like a bit of peer pressure, I think. But yeah, no, I think you're gonna enjoy the predictions nonetheless. So let's jump in with pole position. So pole position, we have, I'll go up the order from Tay up. So Tay predicted Max Verstappen, Neve predicted Oscar Piastri, Willow predicted Max, Kira predicted Oscar, Emmy predicted Oscar, and Lee predicted Oscar. So a lot of Oscar, a couple of Max, and yeah, we're gonna go seemingly for an Oscar Piastri pole according to most of the predictions. I, however, have predicted Lando Norris. I still think he will take pole. Kind of think he's going to win the whole thing, but we'll see how it goes. It's still a lot to play for. I think that's what makes this weekend so exciting is there are so few points separating these drivers now. There's one race left. If you know, obviously, if a driver DNFs, like it's probably it's over. You know, they all have their route to the championship, and it's all feasible. It's not like it's impossible. It's all feasible. Lando's route is obviously easiest, but he does also have to contend with two other people with nothing to lose and everything to gain. So he has to be very, very careful with how he proceeds this weekend. And obviously, being on top, getting a clean start, and pulling away from everyone else will make it that much easier for him. So, yeah, my prediction, Lando Norris, but as I said, everyone else has gone for Oscar, and then a couple votes for Max. So there we go. But P3. So Lee has said George. And yeah, so we've got P3 George, which I think is a fair shout. Neve has gone for Alex. And then everyone else, Tay, Willow, Kira, Emmy, and myself, have all said Yuki Tsunoda for P3. It's kind of become like a little bit of a tradition here that I will always predict Yuki as P3 in Abu Dhabi. It's just like what I do. But yeah, I think as a bit of an act of protest, as an act of solidarity, we've got a whole bunch of Yuki P3s. And don't worry, Neve and Lee's Yuki predictions will be coming in the wildcard section. So yeah, everyone's had something positive to predict for Yuki this week, which I think is very sweet. And it shows just how much he means to us all. Do we think it's actually going to happen? Probably not. Look, it's very unlikely, but you know what? What a brilliant way to just tell Red Bull to go fuck themselves. It's really all we all want to do. So anyway, that's what we've got for P3. In P2, however, this is where it starts to get interesting. P2, Lee has gone for Lando Norris. I have also gone for Lando Norris. Imi has gone for Max. Kira has gone for George. Willow has gone for Oscar. Neve has gone for Oscar. And Tay has gone for Max. I need to quickly check something here. I need to just check, because obviously these predictions have an impact on the actual championship standings. So let's have a look here. I want to see what is the exact points difference. I remember what it was last week. I can't remember what it is this week. It's a lot closer, obviously. Let's have a look. Drivers. Results. I hate the new F1 app. It sucks. Oh my god. I don't even know whether... Okay, there we go. Drivers. Okay, so here we go. Drivers standings. Norris on 408. Verstappen 396. Piastri 392. So that's a 4-point difference between Piastri and Verstappen. And for Norris, it's a 16-point gap between him and Piastri, and a 12-point gap between him and Verstappen. So I want to see when we get to the final podium predictions, I want to take all that into account and tell you who everyone thinks is going to win the whole thing. That's what I'm implying by what their predictions, because yeah, that's kind of what will happen if they end in those predictions, if they end in those positions. So yeah, let's go. P1, Tay has predicted Oscar. Neve has predicted Max. Willow has predicted Max. Kira has predicted Oscar. Imi has predicted Oscar. I have predicted Oscar. And Lee has predicted Oscar. So, interesting. So let's go through. Lee has predicted Oscar, but Lando in P2, which means that Lando would win the championship. I have predicted Oscar, but Lando in P2, which means Lando would win the championship. So that's 2 for Lando. Imi has gone Oscar, Max. So that would be there's only a 4-point gap between them. So Oscar would be ahead of Max. There's no, yeah. Imi has predicted Oscar will win the championship. We'll get to Imi's prediction why that's the case a little bit later. Okay, Kira. Let's see. Kira has gone for Oscar in P1. No Lando podium. So let's say if Lando is in P4, that would be. Oh no, I have to count. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That would be 12 points. That's a 13-point gap. So with Kira's prediction, if Lando is in P4, he would win the championship. I think if he's in P5, he might also win the championship. Maybe. But yeah, so Kira hedging her bets there. Willow has gone with Max in P1. I think Max in P1 with Lando not on the podium would make it a, let's say he's P4, that would be 12 points to 13 points, and the gap between them is 12 points. So Verstappen would win that title. Okay, now we're getting here. So we've got 2 Landos, a few Oscars, a Max, and then Neve's also gone for a Max Oscar, and I think in this case Max would win it. And then Tay has gone for Oscar Max. Yuki, don't know where Lando is, so it's between Oscar and Lando. So even now, with all our predictions, we don't know. Like you can see, there's like everyone's like, maybe it's this one, maybe it's that one, maybe it's this one. Like it's a 3-way race, and no one knows what's gonna happen, and that's so exciting for a season finale. I think importantly, like I don't really care who wins. I just want it to be I don't want it to come down to a weird safety car or some weird call by the stewards. Like we've seen that before in Abu Dhabi. Please God, can we not have that again? But like ultimately, I want it to come down to like who was the better driver. And the thing is, people argue this one's the better driver over the season, this one's the better driver over the season. The fact of the matter is, they've all won the exact same amount of races. Lando has the edge in terms of how many total podiums he has. So let's say no one wins, but they all end up on the same points. Don't I don't know how that's feasibly possible, but whatever. Let's just say it happens. There would be a like a countback situation, and Lando would win on countback. So for people who say Lando hasn't done enough to win a championship, I mean, he has. He's by far the most successful driver this season in terms of points, in terms of podiums, and he shares the most successful driver in terms of wins. So he's definitely a deserving champion if it happens, and I think to the same degree, so is Max, so is Oscar. I will say, just as a bit of like just spiteful revenge, I would like Red Bull to lose. But it is what it is. So I have a very complicated relationship with Max Verstappen. Honestly, like I struggle. I honestly struggle sometimes because I do not know. I don't know. It's just he frustrates me so much sometimes, and I definitely don't like him. I don't hate him. I don't think there's any driver. Well, there is one driver I hate, but we won't go there. But I just find his whole way of doing things to be a little bit annoying sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's a slight hypocrite at times, and yeah, for me personally, I would like it to be Lando or Oscar, and I would like it to be those two for different reasons. I think Oscar is I think Oscar would be an interesting narrative in that it doesn't seem like McLaren want him to be the winner. So that would be interesting, like for him to be like, well, fuck you, McLaren. That's an interesting angle and an interesting bit of drama at the end of the season. And then for Lando, I just feel like the whole world is against that guy, and I don't understand why. So for him to win and be like, well, screw all of you. You said I could do it, and look at me, I'm world champion. That would be great. So yeah, I think and even Max, he's had this like underdog story, surprisingly, as Max Verstappen throughout the season. And again, I don't know if it is quite an underdog story because he does have an equal amount of wins, which tells me that okay, well, maybe it is valid because he's got 7 wins, but the McLaren drivers together have 14, so he's got like half the amount of wins as McLaren does. So in that case, yeah, like the McLaren's clearly a better car. What I will say is that I think it will be interesting if Max wins, because I said this like ages ago. Like, maybe we were like, it was definitely before the halfway mark of the season. But I said McLaren have to pick a number one driver. Like, they have to. They cannot go to the end, because Max will catch them. And if they're not careful, Max is going to steal this championship from them, and they will only have themselves to blame. And we've got one race left, and Max is still within like striking distance, and that is it must be nightmare fuel for McLaren, because for them to have squandered this opportunity, and it reminds me so much of Lewis and Alonso in 2007. And you had Kimi come from behind. No one was, he was just there, and then he grabbed that title right at the end. And it looked like it was always between like Alonso and Hamilton. So yeah, let's see how it goes. It should be fun. It should be quite wild. And on that note, let's have a look at our wild card predictions. So Tay has said that a midfielder leads the race at some point. So midfielder, God, dude, I was just trying to think which teams, and then I was like, does that include Ferrari? I think sometimes it does, but hopefully not this weekend for them. Noticeably, we don't have a single Ferrari prediction here. Not even in P3. I mean, okay, the P3s were kind of all mostly Yuki, but anyway. So, midfield leads the race at some point from Tay. Sorry, sore throat. Neve, Yuki has a great weekend and the others fail. Love your prediction. Willow, double Alpine DNF. Alpine DNF. Oh. Yo. Sorry, that's disgusting. Then we've got Kira. Championship is won by less than 3 points. That would be fun. Okay. I like that prediction, Kira. Imi has said that Norris will DNF. So if we go back to her predictions from earlier, she said Oscar P1, Max P2, Norris DNF. Those together, Oscar is your world champion. So Emmy's backing her boy right to the end. Proud of her for that. Lee has his Yuki race leader repeat. That would be great. For those of you that don't know, he led the... Oh. That's so disgusting. I'm so sorry. Yuki was a race leader at Abu Dhabi in 2023 in his Zebra Alpha Tauri. So, yeah. Why not again? Go out with a bang, huh? That would be great. And then my wildcard prediction, and maybe this is colored a bit by like my feelings towards Red Bull at the moment, but mine is that Max crashes. Yeah. I don't know. I do think that Max is going to be feeling like he's got nothing to lose. He will take risks. But I feel like Lando and Oscar are going to feel the same. And this might be the one time where Max actually has people who will not let him just walk all over them, because they've got something to actually fight for. It's not just a normal race, it's the race. So yeah, those are our predictions. We've got some Lando winnings, Lando winning the championship, Oscar winning the championship, Max winning the championship. We've got some Yuki podiums. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I'm gonna call it a day there before I disgust you even more. But thank you so much for watching Traffic Paradise Radio. We will be back with a Abu Dhabi reaction episode. Plus, we will do a sort of season recap and look back at our predictions from the beginning of the year. What we will do, we made predictions at the beginning of the year. It's like who's going to win the championship, who's going to come last, little things like that. So we'll look back on those and see, and then we'll calculate all those points and find out who won the second annual Traffic Paradise Radio competition prediction points championship thing. So please subscribe if you're enjoying. Please leave a like and comment down below who you think is going to win both the race and the championship. And we will see you after the race, probably on Monday or Tuesday. And yeah, thank you so much for your support and enjoy the last race of the season. It should be a banger.